Welcome to Lesson 15, David and Absalom, Part 2. After Absalom won the hearts of the people, he entered Jerusalem with Ahithophel at his side. He asked Ahithophel what he should do next. His counsel was scandalous. David had left 10 concubines in Jerusalem to manage his household. Ahithophel advised Absalom to sleep with every one of them to show his complete victory over David. They pitched a tent on the rooftop, and Absalom laid with each concubine in sight of all the people, an odious act against his father. Absalom then asked Ahithophel how he should deal with his father. Ahithophel requested 12,000 men to attack David while he was weary from fleeing. He only wanted to kill the king and bring the people back to Absalom. Meanwhile, Absalom asked Hushai, David's spy, for military advice. Hushai told Absalom to wait and gather more forces because David remained a fierce and cunning warrior. Absalom and his men thought Hushai had a better plan. After leaving David and losing Absalom's confidence, Ahithophel went home and hung himself. When Hushai's intel reached David, he gathered his commanders and all of his men and said, "Deal gently for my sake with the young man Absalom." They attacked Absalom's army in the forest of Ephraim, and Absalom's men fell by the sword, giving David an overwhelming victory. During the battle, Absalom rode a donkey under an oak tree. A limb snagged his long, thick hair, but the donkey continued to run, leaving him suspended in midair. Although he struggled to free his hair, he dangled trapped, an easy target. One of David's servants saw Absalom's plight, then ran and told Joab. He rebuked the soldier for not killing Absalom. Had he killed him, Joab would have given him 10 pieces of silver. But the servant stood his ground and said, "Even if I felt in my hand the weight of 1,000 pieces of silver, I would not raise my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king commanded you and Abishai and Ittai, saying, 'For my sake protect the young man Absalom.'" Without regard for David's order, Joab pushed him aside, grabbed 3 spears, and ran them through Absalom's heart. Joab's men then attacked him and threw Absalom's body into a pit in the forest and heaped many stones on top of it. A brutal end for Absalom. When David received news of the complete victory, he also learned of Absalom's death. He cried out, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son, Absalom! Would I have died instead of you, O Absalom, my son, my son!" He mourned until Joab convinced him to rise. Joab pleaded, reminding David his people needed him to be a king, not someone mourning over a rebellious son. David composed himself and returned to being king of Israel.